Let's have a look at this video from Dragon Age The Veilguard Mage Build Deep Dive. Let's see what it says, and we'll talk about it if there's anything to talk about. Let's go. Look out for all these things.
I'm Hilary Heidi, a producer at BioWare.
Hello.
Let's take a closer look at the Mage build we featured at the recent State of Play.
Oh, yes, please.
If you haven't yet, check out our other progression videos for a deeper intro to the gameplay
Are they going to go over
systems.
the armor and stuff?
I call this build the Dragon Killer because my gear and skills have been optimized to take on a powerful boss, this Ice Dragon. As a mage, I can switch between two weapon sets.
Yes.
A staff for ranged attacks.
That's correct.
Or an elemental orb and dagger for close quarters combat.
Very correct.
I'm facing off against an ice dragon, which is vulnerable to fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I've equipped Earthemiel's Ash as my elemental orb.
Earthemiel was the old god that inhabited the archdemon of the Fifth Blight. I love that. It's also, if you have Kieran in Inquisition, it's also the old god that is inside Kieran that Flemeth takes. A little bit of lore for you there.
Orb. It reduces enemy damage, makes burning last longer and do more damage, and increases the cap on burning stacks. My dagger, Thorn of Misfortune, gives me access to the physical damage type and synergizes with my affliction-based build, increasing the damage of arcane bombs, which I build up with repeated orb attacks.
So just to break that down, so you know how like we've got two weapon sets now for each class, whereas in Origins only Rogue and Warrior got two weapon types because Mage was range, so it didn't need a second one. So like for example, Rogue had daggers and then you could switch to a bow and arrow. Warrior had like a sword or a sword and a shield and you could switch to a bow and arrow. Whereas mages just had like a staff because it just counted as like a ranged weapon. Well, now mages also have a second weapon set. So for close combat melee attacks, you use your orb and your dagger, and for ranged and further like for more ranged attacks, I suppose you would use your staff as you normally would with every other mage that we've played in Dragon Age so far. Orb is starting to feel like a fake word. The way that the orb and the dagger works is you use the orb to put little debuffs onto your opponent, and then you use the dagger to detonate them. The more debuffs that you have on your target, I think it stacks at 3, the more damage that you do. I don't know if upgrading it will do more, will stack higher, but when I was playing it, it stacked to 3. So you stack your orbs, like 3 stacks, and then detonate it with the dagger, and then your staff just works the same way that it does in every other game. Your orbs can be elemental, so you can change which element you use. They can be anything from fire, ice, lightning to like necrotic and stuff like that. So you can choose whichever orb you need for whatever battle that you're going into. Like if things are weak to fire, like in this case, then obviously choose a fire orb. Same with your fire staff and your fire runes on your dagger. So each of these runes are customizable. You can you can change them out depending on what you need for the fight that you're going into. So I bet you anything that's a fire one right there, because we're dealing with an ice dragon that's obviously weak to fire. So that's what's going on here with the mage weapons. Now you can change between these weapons at any time. You don't have to be out of combat to swap between using the orb and the dagger and the staff. You could be mid-fight, you could be mid-attack, and you hit the button that swaps out these two weapons. You can go from orb and dagger to staff mid-attack if you want. It's great fun. It's great fun. They are interchangeable, but they are also really important for different situations. different scenarios call for the staff and different scenarios call for the melee attack. It depends on your playstyle as well. If you prefer kiting, which means like holding your opponents at range, then I recommend using the staff more. But if you're more of a knight enchanter and you like being like a little bit of a battle mage, where you fight at close combats, then I recommend using the orb and dagger as your playstyle. It's really fun.
I've further powered up my afflictions by equipping this death mask, which will give me a nice damage boost. You'll notice my armor set looks a bit different than the icon. That's because I'm making use of the game's transmog system to set my appearance to this Tevinter mage robe I purchased in Docktown.
Love that. So even though this is the armor that she's wearing, she obviously prefers the look of this armor. And now that we have transmogging, we have like a glamour situation now. We can customize. We can keep the good armor but make it look pretty, and it maintains all of its stats on the good armor, but it just looks better. Love it. Cannot wait. Love it.
Let's switch over to my character's skill tree, where I've further enhanced my ability to take on this ice dragon. Elemental Catalyst gives my abilities plus 15% bonus damage. In this case, fire damage, since both my staff and orb are fire-based.
Nice.
Inner Focus generates 25% extra mana from successful light attacks, and that number is doubled against enemies suffering from an affliction, like burning. So each time I attack my burning enemies, I'll generate 50% extra mana, allowing me to cast powerful spells like Meteor more often.
Let's
take a look at some additional skills I've unlocked by choosing a specialization for my rook. In this case, Spellblade,
perfect,
which blends magic and melee. With the electrical burns passive.
Let me just explain something really quick, because it took me a minute to realize what was going on with the skill tree. Let me just drop that down. Show me the skill tree again, but take that off. Hold on. Wait, what the fuck?
In this case, Spellblade.
Show me.
By choosing a look at some additional skills I've
So let me just bring that back a smidgen so you can see it. So do you see how each of the specializations has a symbol next to it? So like this one is the Mornwatch, this one is the Shadow Dragons, and this one is the Antivan Crows. A lot of people were wondering what these symbols meant and why they were there. The reason that they're there is because this specialization is based on the fighting style of the Mornwatch. So all of their abilities will be like themed around the Mornwatch. It's the same with the Antivan Crows, like we were talking about in the previous video, where her specialization for the Spellblade takes on the form of a crow because it is the specialization that is based on the fighting style of the crows. So it would make sense that the abilities take the shape and form of abilities that crows would have, or things that are themed around the crows. And the same up here with Evoker and the Shadow Dragons. So you might find that if you unlock the specialization of Evoker, a lot of the abilities that you use as a mage will be themed around the Shadow Dragons, and vice versa with all of the other ones. Same with the other specializations as well. It's applicable to warrior and rogue as well. So when you see these little symbols next to your specialization, your abilities within that specialization will be themed around that symbol right there. So that's what that means, in case anybody was wondering.
I've unlocked by choosing a specialization for my rook. In this case, Spellblade, which blends magic and melee. With the electrical burns passive, my fire attacks stack even more afflictions on my targets.
Excellent.
Applying the shocked affliction whenever I apply burning, and vice versa.
Oh, I love it.
And finally, my Spellblade ultimate ability,
Thunderous End, is the bird.
Unleashes a massive amount of damage, shocking enemies in a wide radius. Perfect against a large target like a dragon. Let's return to our battle with the Ice Dragon to talk about synergies and combos. Here, I've got the dragon staggered. This is my opportunity to deal as much damage as possible while it's down. Detonations are a great way to do this. A detonation can be set up with Lucanus's Debilitate ability, which applies the Sundered status, followed by Rook's Dark Squall, which detonates sundered targets.
You don't have to worry about memorizing all of that because it's listed here. So if we come back, so all of the information that you need. Remember that your game is paused when the screen is up, so you can take your time. You don't have to worry about like this dragon getting up anytime soon because your game is paused. It shows what it applies. It applies the sundered debuff, I suppose it's called. And this is in the game. This is called a detonator, I guess. What is it? It's like what's the name when you thingy a bomb, when you set a bomb, you detonate it to primer. This is called a primer. Applies sundered, and then the link will the menu will bring up a prompt to show you the combos that will detonate the primers. So where it says apply on Lucanus, you want to find an ability that says detonates sundered, because he's applying sundered, and that's how you get your combos. That's how you get your synergies. So if we play and come over here, so see how it says detonates sundered? That's where you get your combos. But the menu will prompt you. See how there's like two little lines? I don't know if you can see it through here. The combos will prompt in the menu in case you're unsure. But this is how you tell what combos with what. One will say apply, the other one will say detonate. I actually have a note on what detonates what and things and stuff. So I'll just read them out to you very quickly. So mages apply weakened and overwhelmed, and then mages are the ones that detonate sundered. But mages apply weakened and overwhelmed. Rogues apply weakened and sundered, as we just saw there, and rogues detonate overwhelmed. Warriors apply sundered and overwhelmed. Warriors detonate weakened. So it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors thing. So whilst your mage is applying weakened abilities and your rogue is applying sundered abilities, then your mage will be detonating the sundered and your warriors will be detonating the weakened. Everybody sets something that the other class can detonate, and then that's how you get like your rock, paper, daggers, essentially. Boulder, parchment, shears. You'll get the hang of it. It sounds really complicated, but I promise it's easier when you're playing the game.
Dark Squall, which detonates sundered targets. I'll follow this up with Tasha's Fire Breath to apply burning damage. Normally I'd have to wait for my companions to cool down before I could use their abilities for another combo. But I've got a secret weapon up my sleeve. The Dreadwolf's Lyrium Dagger. My dagger is equipped with 3 runes. I'll toggle to the regroup rune and activate it, instantly refreshing my companion cooldowns.
Oh, nice.
With my companion's full suite of abilities available, let's finish this thing. I'll once again use Lucanus' Debilitate to set up a detonation, and this time I'll trigger it with my meteor attack, all while Tasha's Fire Breath keeps the dragon burning.
Oh, perfect. Amazing.
And I'll finish the job with my powerful ultimate ability, Thunderous End.
Come on. What's not to love? It's so fun. It's so fun. It was so fun when I was playing to try and figure it all out. It was so fun to find all the combos and to like find all of the like strategies and things and stuff. I have never understood what every effect does. I just see numbers and think good enough, so you explaining is great. I'm glad that helps, but sometimes just seeing numbers and saying good enough is a great way to play a game, so don't worry too much about it. Tash was so hot. That was an excellent breakdown. And I hope that helped for a lot of things. I'm going to make my own breakdown of the combat and how I found it. Somebody left me a really big compliment in the comment section the other day, saying that my rogue gameplay was really smooth looking, and they would love to hear me talk about it. I would love to talk about it if I'm honest. I do ramble on a little bit, so I'm going to cut the video here. If you've been watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Let me know what you thought about the mage video and the deep dive into everything. Did you get the primers and the detonations? Are you looking forward to all of the combos? Are you looking forward to building your own mage, rogue, or warrior in Dragon Age The Veilguard and getting into those dragon fights? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. Remember, grifters will be blocked. I take no exceptions. I do not care. I'm not here for hate. I'm here just to enjoy a game that I really love. All the love to the power to the trans community out there. We've got your back. Like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next Veilguard video. See you next time, guys. Bye.